If you don't have a NAS, I'm here to tell you that it could change your life. This is not hyperbolic. NASs are like the single most important thing that I have. Not only can it store all your stuff and let you do regular backups, but you can run virtual machines, automate all kinds of different things, and store your entire media libraries with applications to watch all of that media or listen to all your music. So in this video, I'm going to give you 5 really good use cases for your NAS that are not just file storage. And we're going to get nerdier as we go on. But first, I'm going to talk about the NAS that I've been using. UGREEN has given us 15% off, so I'll put some links down in the description. Be sure to check down there so you can get your 15% off and say thanks to UGREEN for sponsoring. For the last couple of years, I've been recommending UGREEN, and full disclosure right now, I'm doing a little bit of consulting for them. A lot of that's because I was like, hey, I like what you're doing, and it's putting pressure on the rest of the industry. This is what we're using, and I feel like the industry gotten a little bit complacent, and that's one of the reasons why I kept talking to UGREEN is because they showed up with a set of specs that I think is far more modern, and the build quality also really impressed me. So another reason why I like UGREEN is because they have wide compatibility and they don't lock down their devices and force you to use a certain type of hard drive or anything. Here's a list of all the stuff that is verified to be compatible. This is the stuff that they've tested. A lot of times other stuff will work as well. I'm going to use some Western Digital drives in mine. Now they also have a tested list of M.2, so you can expand and use different M.2 NVMe SSDs. Above and beyond that, you can upgrade your memory. And here is the official list of memory that is verified to be working. I'm using something that's not on this list because I had it here in the studio. I popped it in and it worked just fine. I would recommend coming over here to the compatibility list just to make sure that you get something that you know is going to work. If you have some extra memory, you can always try it because these are not locked down. I'll put a link to the compatibility list down in the description. I'm going to be using the NASync DXP 4800 Plus in this video. You have 4 bays right there for your 3.5-inch drives, but we also have 2 M.2 slots, and you can use that as dedicated storage if you want to. And then with the combined 10 gig Ethernet port or the 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, it's got both. I'm able to edit 4K video directly from the NAS. You've got an Intel Pentium Gold. That's 5 cores with 6 threads. So you got 1 big core and the rest are the efficiency cores, which keeps the power draw down to 15 watts. Also, the max turbo frequency on this is 4.4 gigahertz. And then we also have DDR5. A couple different things I like about this. Number one, it's less expensive than ECC DDR4. It's quite a bit faster than DDR4 ECC memory. For a home user, I feel like DDR5 is about as secure as ECC DDR4. So I think that's a good choice, and you can upgrade that all the way to 64 gigabytes. Then we have 1 10 gigabit Ethernet port and 1 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, along with an SD card slot, Type-C, plenty of USB, and we have HDMI on board. Above and beyond all that, these are not locked down. You can install whatever you want, and you can install multiple operating systems. It's just a computer. You can install other NAS software on here, and you can do so on the other hard drive. So if you wanted to install it just on one of the other M.2, well, it does have an internal M.2 besides the 2 slots that you have. So you can have 3 different operating systems installed if you wanted to, and then switch between them in the BIOS. And you can install TrueNAS or whatever you want. I actually prefer the software that they have because they keep adding things to it, and it's just become a cozy environment for me. So I'll show you that. So now let's hop in, and I'm going to talk about 5 nerdy and interesting things that you can do with your NAS. If you like movies, if you like anime, if you like, I don't know, just whatever TV shows and stuff, you really should be hosting your own stuff. The services out there are kind of nonsense. The quality of them fluctuates depending on the connection, and then they keep removing stuff. So I always manage my own collection of stuff, and we have a couple different options here. So the first thing I want to show you is Theater. It's made by UGREEN. They put this together. So I think there's some open source stuff going on in the back end, but nonetheless, they've put all this together, and it allows you to just simply come over here, browse through your folders. You can add different collections, just put them on your NAS. It's pretty easy. This is not a full-on tutorial right here, but I'll give you a quick demo on how to set up a couple things here. Click on the cog over there, go over to your libraries, add your library, and then it allows you to sign in with the movie database account. You can add your movie database API key, and then it'll pull all of the metadata, meaning like all the descriptions and everything. There's very easy walkthroughs for everything, so I mean anybody could do this. And then you just have your different things. Like I got movies, I got my shows here, so I click on shows. I've just uploaded a few things here for show and tell. Halt and Catch Fire is the best show ever made. You need to watch this, especially if you like computers. It's a fictitious tale of the Compaq story, and then the AOL story, then the IBM story, then all these other old school stories, but the characters are awesome and it's good. So there's that, and this will work right here through your browser. You just log on to the NAS. NAS and then open it up. All right, so that's like level 1. If you want to get even crazier and have more metadata sources, have a standalone desktop application that you can run from any computer, well, now we have Jellyfin. There's also Plex, but we have Jellyfin now, which is my favorite. If you just come into the App Center, you'll find it in here. Well, I've already installed it, but show you here under installed, Jellyfin right there. So Jellyfin, it'll open right here in the browser, but you can also use a desktop application to open this up. And it's very similar. You're setting up your, in fact, sometimes I wonder, is it based on the same thing, which is IMBY? This is not a full-on tutorial, but yeah, we've got this. And one of the things I like about Jellyfin, I'll show you over here, is if you go to your dashboard and then come down here to plugins, you can scroll through and see different plugins. Now, these are the ones I've installed. These are Anime, AniList, and AniDB for the metadata for anime. I actually find that the TV database right here has the best metadata for anime even. It's like nice long descriptions of each episode, but you know, it is what it is. You can always organize them and pick which ones you want to get the metadata from. There's also a catalog here of different things that you can set up, get Kodi and DLNA, whatever else. I've got the Open Subtitles one installed. Discogs if you're going to use this for music, video game music database for video game music, so you can install all these things. It goes, I guess, one step nerdier. If you don't need this, their version is just fine, but if you want something nerdier, like I said, then this is probably the way to go. When it comes to music, their music app is pretty good. I just threw some stuff in there, but this allows you to just hop on, open up the music app, and then listen to whatever stuff you want to listen to. All right, when it comes to organizing all your photos and sharing them over the internet, well, they have their Photos app. So let's take a look at that. And their Photos app also has some handy AI tools that are not just like AI generation slop. They're actually tools to allow you to organize your collection and find things. So I've got a couple of them turned on right now. I'll just show you. I've put a bunch of my Oblivion screenshots from my latest playthrough. And then down here, some shots from just my trip to Japan. And then this is a friend of mine who looks a lot like Marilyn Monroe. We did a photo shoot, so got some other stuff down here from the past. So I'll show you what happens. I haven't created any albums myself, but the AI that I have installed right here, because I've come over to tools and custom learning tools, models right here, and scroll down, you can do like text recognition and, you know, similar photo recognition, pet recognition for animals. You can, you know, have it recognize people and whatever else. So when I go to albums, it now has a thing that just says people. And look, it found my friend Kendra, all kinds of pictures. You know, I used to be a photographer. This is what I used to do for fun. This is not Photoshop. This is one take with a little flash foo. I don't do any Photoshop, by the way. And then like it says object recognition. What do we got? Oh, animal. And look, it recognized my horse. Even though it's this dark, it's like, that's an animal, that's a horse. So that's pretty cool. I think that's a handy way to organize things. Now, of course, you can make your own stuff. You can just come over here and like check mark things or whatever else, and then make your own folders or whatever. There's another thing that's pretty cool. You're like, all right, I want to share this. You know, we ran all day and all night. Oops, that's the old game. I'm going to show you the new one. Yeah, we were running all day and all night. Let's say I want to share this with somebody. Well, you can just come up here, click on the ... click on share. You could do no password if you want to, public sharing, click on share. And it'll give you something to download right here. Now, you're going to need to use, because this is your internal IP address, you're going to need to just grab this. And if you're using DDNS, then paste that behind your DDNS address, or if you're using the UGREEN ID, you can paste it behind that. But this doesn't work on the internet. I am not using the UGREEN ID right now on this machine because I use DDNS, but that's beyond the scope of this video. If you have the UGREEN ID and stuff, this will be very easy. You just copy and send it to somebody else. They'll be able to just access this. It's a secure connection just to your photos. By the way, the new Oblivion's fun. It looks very pretty as well. Made my own little lighting mod that I haven't shared with anyone yet. Maybe I will. I don't know. So that's the Photos app and some of the AI stuff that they have there that's not terrible slop. All right, next up we need to talk about backup. Now we're getting into like the really important stuff. We got a couple different tools for that. The first one is sync and backup that you can download. And this one allows us to sync and create different sync tasks with our computer. So with this one, sync with another UGREEN NAS, or we can sync with this computer. But in order to do that, we'll need to download the UGREEN NAS app for our computer, and you can get it on all the different platforms. No Linux support right now. Gotta grab it right here, the Windows 64 version. Just install it in the default location. All right, so we can go ahead and scan for it. If you don't know the IP address, which I do, but whatever, click on connect, and then we'll just connect right here. All right, now we're logged in right here. So that's installed. And now we've got two things. We've got the sync to another UGREEN NAS, but now we also have sync this computer. So now what I can do is do a two-way sync or a one-way sync. You pick however you want it, and just have a path here on our computer. So I'm just going to say I want to back up my documents right here, and then make a path on here. So I got, I don't know, let's create a folder just called documents backup right there. Good enough. Cool. confirm, two-way sync, and you can do one way if you want to do it that way. Note that two-way backup can be a little bit dangerous because if you accidentally delete something from your documents folder, then it'll get removed as well from the UGREEN NAS. So you might want to just have it only sync data changes of the computer to the UGREEN NAS, and then deleting files on the computer won't affect the NAS. If you have multiple versions of the same file, then that'll obviously be there. So that's a safer way to do it, but it will use more space. So you can do it however you like. Real time means that it just always works in the background, uses more resources, but we got a lot of resources on this NAS, so that's what I'm going to do because this thing will run just fine. There we go, and check that out, it's syncing now. So that's how we back up stuff just from our computer to the NAS. All right, so we backed up stuff to the NAS. Maybe you also want to back up stuff to different cloud places just so it's secure in multiple places that are outside of your home. I've already got this installed, but you'll want to install this. It's called Cloud Drives. And right now, we're in a very early version of this, but we already have Microsoft OneDrive and Google Drive. Those are the two options that we have now for backup. So you can pick either one of those. Pretty much everybody has one or the other. If you want to do something nerdier like Backblaze or Amazon S3 or whatever, just any other S3 compatible stuff like Wasabi or whatever, you can do that. But you're going to need to use something a little bit fancier. I'm not going to do a full tutorial, but it's pretty easy to set up. I'll show you Duplicati right here. So Duplicati is an open source piece of software. I'll just have to show it to you. That's the best way to do it. So I've got it running over here. And you have this gigantic list of stuff that you can use to back up all these different cloud services that you can use. So pick the one that you like the best. It's really easy to set up. It took me like 3 or 4 minutes to set that up. Just got to remember to go in there and add that password when you're going through the initial setup. And that's pretty much it. It was very, very quick and easy to set up. Another thing we can do here with Docker is install Pi-hole. And Pi-hole allows us to create a DNS server that we run ourselves. What does that mean? Every time you go to a website, let's say you go to epicpants.com, well, you type in Epic Pants, and then it goes to your DNS server, which is usually tied to your ISP like Comcast or whatever else, CenturyLink, and it says, hey, what is epicpants.com? And it says, oh, it's this IP address, and it gives it the IP address and connects you. Running your own DNS means that you can do all kinds of interesting things with that, but it can also allow you to block all the advertising IP addresses and stuff. So you can go in and create block lists for malicious websites, and you can subscribe to block lists that will allow you to block tons of ads so they don't even come onto your system. So normally with ad block, the ads show up on your system and then they get blocked, but you're still dealing with that bandwidth. Pi-hole, it gets blocked before it even gets to you. And I've done tutorials on this, but I'll show you how it works over here. You just come down to images. We're going to go to our image database and I'm going to search for Pi-hole. And there it is, Pi-hole. Pi-hole. The official Pi-hole Docker image from piehole.net. So you can try other ones if this one doesn't work, but there we go. Just gonna grab the latest version. If you wanna click right here, you can get the nightly or whatever, but I'm just gonna get the latest. All right, our image is downloaded. Come over here to container, do new container, and I'm gonna scroll down and find my Pi-hole latest, confirm. Looking at all this, I wanna make sure it's in bridge mode, that's fine. There we go, we got our port mapping right here. I'm gonna confirm this and run this after creation. So the first time you use this, you're gonna want to click on the ... and then go to our settings right here. Click on terminal, click on add to just open up a terminal. It'll just add a terminal, whatever. And then we're going to do this. Pi-hole space set password, one word, and I'm leaving it blank. So there we go, we're done. Now there we go. We come over here to our admin page and there we go. Now we've got Pi-hole. So now you can direct your DNS right here. And then you can come down here and add all your lists or whatever. You've already got one right here enabled, but now we have Pi-hole running easily. It was so fast and quick and easy. Now, once we're finished here, we can just close this out. Yeah, close the terminal. We're done. That's it. It's stupid simple. So now you can see how many things you can do with a NAS. Do you want one yet? Do you need one? Do you want this in your life? And don't forget about that 15% off deal. All those links are down in the description. So right now, what I want to know is, what are you going to be using your NAS for? If you already have a NAS, what do you use your NAS for? And did this give you any ideas? And also, if there's some of these things that you're like, I want to go a little bit deeper into that, let me know. Maybe we can do special tutorials. So thanks again to UGREEN. Be sure to check out all of the different NAS units that I mentioned. Make sure you get the one that's right for you. All the links are down in the description. If you got any questions, put them in the comments, and I'll see you next time.